Hey, Wesley, what's up, man?
Hey, Dr. John, how are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I just really quickly wanted to say thank you for using your gifts and insight to service listeners. How you do, man? I honor it.
Well, I appreciate that a lot, man. That I've been I've been getting bombarded lately, so I appreciate that. I needed that today, so thanks.
I love that.
What's up?
So I talked to Taylor, but I have the worst time trying to figure out how to frame this question because every time I frame it, I always feel like it comes back to like character defects in me.
Just dump it all out on the table. We'll sort it out.
Okay, so a 10, 15-second backstory is I grew up super poor, small town, very broken family. I got like 3 moms in my life, all this crazy stuff. Again, very broke, very poor, no direction type of family. Anyways, fast forward to I'm 19, I get saved, then I get like a pretty nice job, and kind of now I have an amazing family, wife, 2 kids, doing financially pretty well, and just emotionally, mentally doing really well. But my whole family kind of isn't. And so I have trouble, I guess.
It's not your job. It's not your job. Hey, listen to me. You've tried. You've tried to buy it. You've tried to teach it. And they're not having it.
No.
And you feel like you just aren't doing it right. But one day you could teach them, show them, buy them. And I tell you right now, you can't. And I hate that for you because you want everyone to experience the peace you have, both spiritually, financially, emotionally, as a family. You want everyone you love to have that, and they look at you and they go, I don't want that. Or I don't care to do the work that it would take to get that. By the way, can I have $1,000? Why you got to be such an ass, dude? Like, give me $1,000. Like, are you serious right now? You're just going to turn your back on your family?
Yeah, it's weird because then I struggle with like, so you hit almost all the nails on the head. I've had the advice talks, the money talks, and again, I've given money, I've given advice, but obviously none of it.
Yeah, they don't care, man. They don't care.
And so now it's at the point where I'm like, how do I? Because obviously I love them. So I asked Taylor the question of like, how do I love them well? I feel like I love them, but I'm like, how do I have relationship with them? Like that I don't feel like I'm like judging, or I don't feel like bad, or like
your relationship will look very different. It'll look very different because you in your new life have boundaries. You can't show up to family stuff high, or you can't be here. Are you serious? Yep, you can't. You can't bring strange men around my daughters. Or no, you don't understand. Like, no, I'm serious. I don't give money or loan money to family members, period. And if a condition of our brotherhood or sister to brother or mom and dad to son is conditional on a financial transaction, that's all you need to know, Wesley, about what they think of you. And here's the deal. One day, one of them will call. And it will be a great day for you. But until then, until they want it, you trying to give it to them is just a recipe for heartbreak. And so you might have to limit the interactions you have every year with them. You might limit the interaction your kids have with them. That's okay. If it's not safe or if it's different than your values or whatever. Have you heard me say, I've said it probably 1,000 times, and it didn't originate with me. I think it's a Brene Brown quote, but you got to choose guilt over resentment.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you're going to hate your mom, and that's not fair because she's not well. Or you're going to hate your brother or your sister, and that's not fair. It's because you didn't put up boundaries.
Can I ask one specific question
you can ask anything, dude. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my dad was pretty much, I say I have 3 moms, but my dad was pretty much single dad my whole life. He had it rough, obviously. where am I going with this question? Basically now, fast forward, again, we're doing financially pretty well. And part of what I do for fun, I don't rely on this income or anything, is I day trade some.
Okay.
And one kind of thing I did to help him out was I was like, hey, if I ever make any money day trading, like you can have like 10% of it. Cause like,
why?
He makes like,
why would you do that? Because you feel guilty. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, what's that? Where's that percentage come from? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It's just like, I don't know, something. Like, he came out yesterday to see us and the twins, and he was like, can you spare like $30 for gas?
Yep.
I'm like, of course I can. Yeah.
And maybe you and your wife decide, when they come out, I'll fill their car up with gas.
Okay.
Or maybe, but here's the deal. If you don't have that limit, if you don't have that boundary already in place, you're going to end up writing a check for $500 after you've just filled up the car. And then on the way home, they're going to ask, like, oh, yeah, dude, hey, I totally forgot this thing. Can you Venmo me another $1,000? And by that time, you're underwater. They've already dragged you underwater.
So how do you frame those conversations that have been going on for, these types of transactions have been going on for so long?
Excellent. Here's the deal. How many kids do you have?
2 and 1 on the way.
Okay. How long have you been married?
Oh, she would know. 2.5 years.
Yeah, that's a number. That's a number you want to know, or off the top of your head. always. You're gonna want to just keep that one pretty close. Earlier in the call, you said like you're just worried about character defects. I don't think you have any character defects except that one. You have to know that date. I'm just playing with you. Here's what. How old are you?
24.
Cool. All right. So I think with your dad, it's going to be a direct conversation. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be probably the hardest direct man-to-man conversation you've ever had. And I promise you it won't be the last one, because somebody's going to hurt your kid one day. Somebody's going to hit your car one day. Someone's going to break your window one day. Someone's going to fire you someday, or they're going to put you in a position where you got to fire somebody someday. So this hard conversation will just escalate, get harder as you get older. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you learn to do it now, awesome. Here's the conversation. Dad, you and I have to have a direct man-to-man conversation. Cool? Dad.
Not over text.
Nope. No. Not over text. Good grief, freaking millennial. In person, face-to-face, over a meal. And say, Dad, I'm coming to you as also a dad of 2, about to be 3, and of a young married man. I have to start investing in my kids' future. What does that mean? That means over the last 3 to 5 years, I've been able to help with bills, help with whatever. I'm starting college funds for these kids. I'm starting a home fund because I want to purchase our own home and have it paid off. I don't want to live by credit cards. I want to be an autonomous family. And so from this point forward, I'm making a boundary in my house. I'm making a rule in my house that I'm not going to loan or give money to family members outside of these kids. And then you get real quiet. Or when you come to visit me, I will always fill your car up with gas. But that's going to be the extent of it. I just want to put that out on the table so everybody's on the same page. I love you, and I'm going to start looking at changing this family tree financially. And here's the deal. He may tell you to screw off. How dare you talk to me like this? And the challenge, especially when you're 24, but I'm going to tell you, when I'm being 44, that you still have that same sense, right? 54, 64. Is if I have a conversation like that with him, I may lose him. And I want to tell you, if you lose him over a conversation like that, he's already long gone.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think you would say to that conversation?
It's weird. I feel like it's weird that I don't know. Like, I feel like, because I think the perspective has always been, because we make pretty good money, like 400,000 or 500,000 range, which is a lot from coming from, a super small town. That's
a lot for a physician, dude. What do you do?
It's hard to explain what I do. I work with a YouTuber.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah, that too. No. I work with a YouTuber, and he basically has a bunch of like other businesses with mentorship and random stuff, and I basically am like his go-to secondhand guy.
Okay. I too am a YouTuber.
Nice.
I too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not paying Kelly $400,000. So well done. Well done, Wesley. Well done.
Thank you. I got on a revenue sharing plan, and so that was a good deal I made 4 years ago.
So let me tell you this. That money will fluctuate over time.
Yes, 100%.
And like the YouTube as a way to make that kind of money didn't exist 7 years ago. Yeah. And so my expectation as a guy who's a YouTuber who's doing well is it won't exist in 7 years also. Here's why I'm telling you that. It's really good now, and it feels like I can just give $10,000 here. I can just give $20,000 here. But I want you to prepare for a world where you're back to making $100,000 someday. Is that reality? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hope you make this and continue to escalate it forever and ever and ever. Amen.
Yeah.
Right? But it's easy to be 24 and think this is going to be this way forever.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean? I want 3 kids with a fully funded college fund. I want at least $100,000 in the bank for each of them. I want my house to be fully paid off. I don't want to have any bills, and I want to have a 6-month emergency fund. So if something happens to one of my kids will break an arm because you got kids and you're in Oklahoma, that's just what happens. And because you still raise kids right out there. And your roof's going to fall, or you're going to leak, or you're going to need an air conditioner. And so I want to be in my own bank. And so it may be 2 years, and you take care of all that stuff, man. You make $1 million over a couple of years, and you pay for a nice house, and you get it paid off, and you get your kid's college fund built up. Then maybe you sit down with your dad and say, "Hey, I see your car doesn't run anymore. I'm gonna pick you up a used car." But that's a different conversation than the slow just drip, where it feels like molasses on you.
Yeah, it's just hard. I just
I know.
Sacrificed half his life,
I know.
For me.
I know. But he wasn't doing it as a college investment. Yeah. I mean, and I say college investment, that's about it. You were not a 401k for him. You were his son. And his job was to love you and provide for you and care for you. Now, taking care of your old man, great. If you guys come back and say, "Hey, we're going to pay your rent for the next year," awesome. But what I'm saying is you have to put some boundaries on it. You have to say that, and then there is a period. Because it's the ... It's the ellipsis that makes everybody crazy. It makes him feel ashamed every time he has to ask you. It makes you feel pissed off every time you give it and think, "My God, dude, you're just like, can you get a job?" Like whatever your challenges are. Be as generous as you want to be, but make sure you and your wife have talked about it, and you'll have a period at the end of that sentence. And make sure you don't spite your current family trying to bring people along into a world that don't really want to go along in that world. They just want the spoils of that world. They don't want to do the hard work that you have to do every day. I know the work Kelly and that team puts in every day. It's a lot, right?
Uh-huh.
Or the worst part of, I remember being young. I was like 28 or 27, and I got really mad that one of my supervisors was making like triple what I was making. And then he asked me to come spend a week with him, like going to meetings and stuff. And I remember at the end of that week thinking, "Oh, crap, he earns that money, all of it." Right? So it's really easy to be like, "I make $400,000 as a YouTuber." You're working hard. I know you are. I know the world. I know that business. You're working very, very hard. And when you start to change that generational curse, when you pick up your family tree and you plant it somewhere else and it starts to really flourish, you want to go tell everybody you love and care about, "Guys, look, this soil's amazing over here." And they look at you and say, "We don't want to. We want to stay in the desert." And they get to do that. And it's not a matter of looking down on them. It's not a matter of passing judgment on them. It's just a matter of saying, "Man, I'm heartbroken because I wish y'all would come with me." And they don't want to. Choose guilt over resentment every time, my brother. And the word no does not make you a bad person, an ungrateful son, a terrible brother. It makes you a stable father and husband. And that's an important thing that we all need more of around here. Thanks for the call, brother. Congratulations on your success. Keep working hard. And be present with those kids.